Now let's learn the sleeves. Take a look at the finished product. There are 2 sleeves in total. The crochet method is the same. It's divided into 2 sections, the sleeve body and the sleeve cap. The sleeve body starts with a foundation chain. Crochet in rows along the foundation chain. The crochet method is similar to that for the body of the back piece. The sleeve cap is crocheted in rows from the sleeve body. First, you need to carry the yarn across to the corresponding position. Leave space for the armpits on both sides. During the process, you'll encounter a single transitional slip stitch. Just crochet the slip stitch in the corresponding position. All the stitches have been demonstrated previously. Pay attention to the insertion position for the edge stitches to avoid crocheting incorrectly. Please complete the sleeves according to the chart. After completing, cut the yarn. Weave in all the yarn tails on the wrong side. That concludes the explanation of the sleeves. Next, let's learn the front band. Let's take a look at the finished product. The front band is divided into left and right front bands. Both consist of multiple square motifs and one irregular motif. Note that the number of square motifs differs between the large and small sizes. The first motif of each front band is a complete square motif. The other motifs are crocheted and connected to the previous motif simultaneously in the last round. First, let's learn the complete square motif. It starts with an adjustable magic ring, crocheting in rounds counterclockwise. The new stitch will be used as the DC2 bobble. Let me demonstrate the specific crochet technique. Start with an adjustable magic ring. After that, work round 1. First, make 2 beginning chains, which count as 1/2 double crochet. Next, chain 2. In the magic ring, crochet 7 half double crochets, with 2 chains in between as a bridge. After finishing, chain 2. Then close the ring. Tighten as much as possible, but be mindful not to pull too hard. Finally, pick up the top of the beginning chains and work a slip stitch. The joining slip stitch needs to be tightened. That completes round 1. We will consider the side with clear texture as the right side. Move on to round 2. In the left chain space, work 1 slip stitch for transition. You can slightly tighten it. Then make 2 beginning chains. Work 1 double crochet in the same stitch. As you crochet, weave in the starting yarn tail. We will consider these 2 chains and 1 double crochet as 1 special DC2 bobble. Continue working 1 more double crochet in the same stitch. In the left chain space, work 1 double crochet and 1 DC2 bobble. First, work 2 incomplete double crochets. Then yarn over and pull through once. The DC2 bobble is complete. The V shape on the upper right is its stitch. We will consider the stitches after the slip stitch as one side of this round. Continue by chaining 3. This counts as one corner of this round. Continue referring to the pattern to crochet these sides and corners. After completing the last corner, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Pull tight. Round 2 is complete. Continue with round 3. Start by chaining 2. Then, in the next 3 stitches on the left side, work a DC3 tog. We'll consider the worked stitches as a special DC4 tog. Continue by chaining 3. In the chain space on the left corner, work 1 double crochet. Chain 5. We'll consider these 5 chains as a corner of this round. Continue working on a side. First, work 1 double crochet in the same chain space. Chain 3. In the next 4 stitches on the left side, work a DC4 tog. Chain 3. Work 1 double crochet in the chain space. One side is complete. Continue referring to the pattern to crochet the corners and sides. Note that the first and last stitches of the side are worked into the same position. Finish with a slip stitch. Complete this side. Fasten off the yarn. Weave in the yarn tail on the wrong side. Trim the excess starting yarn tail. So a complete square motif is done. 7. Move on to the second square motif. The first 2 rounds are crocheted in the same way as before. In the third round, you need to join with the first motif. The joining happens at one side and 2 corners. The joining positions on the chart are for reference only. When crocheting, you can randomly select one side and the corresponding 2 corners to join. The joining positions of the swatch here are also random. Work up to the position before the first corner. The technique is the same as before. After that, you reach the first corner position. Replace the chain in the middle of the corner with a single crochet for the connection. That means working 2 chains first. Then take out the first square motif. Position the 2 motifs with their wrong sides facing each other. Insert the hook into the chain space of the corresponding corner. You can choose any corner here. Work 1 single crochet. Then chain 2. This completes 1 connection. The corners of the 2 following square motifs are connected in the same way. Now, crochet the side. Similarly, replace the middle chain of the 3 chains with a single crochet for the connection. First, crochet 1 double crochet in the same chain space on the current motif. Chain 1. Then insert the hook into the corresponding chain space on the left the previous motif. Work 1 single crochet. Chain 1. This completes 1 more connection. Follow this method to finish working the side. After finishing, connect the corner positions. The method is the same as before. This connects the two motifs. Continue following the chart to complete this round. And finish with a slip stitch. Fasten off the yarn. Weave in the yarn tail on the wrong side. Please finish it on your own. This completes the second square motif and finishes the connection. For the remaining square motifs of the front band, crochet the initial rounds directly according to the chart. In the last round, join with the side on the right and two corners of the previous motif. The joining method is the same as for the first two motifs. Make sure to join them together to form a long strip. Don't crochet the connection points incorrectly. Please follow the chart and refer to the previous demonstration and complete the corresponding number of square motifs that follow. That concludes the tutorial on the square motifs. Next, we'll learn the irregular motifs. The technique is similar to the square motifs, and similarly join them as you go. Please note that the crochet method for the irregular motifs on the left and right front bands differs. The new stitch will be used here is the HDC4 tog. Let me demonstrate the specific crochet method. I'll first demonstrate the irregular motif of the right front band. The first two rounds are crocheted in the same way as before. Then work the third round. Start by following the method for the square motifs, and join the side and corners of the last square motif as you go. Here, I'll use a swatch to demonstrate. The number of motifs is random. After connecting, continue crocheting the following section. For the third corner, be sure to adjust the chain stitch count to 3. Continue crocheting the next side. 1 double crochet, 3 chains, and 1 HDC4 tog. First, crochet 4 incomplete half double crochets. Yarn over once. Insert the hook. Pull the yarn through. The first stitch is complete. Continue with the second stitch. Yarn over once. Insert the hook. Pull the yarn through. The second stitch is complete. Continue to crochet the remaining 2 stitches. Finally, yarn over and pull through all loops once. The HDC4 tog is complete. Continue working 3 chains. 1 double crochet. Then crochet the last corner. Note that the number of chains here is 7. Then crochet this round as usual. Finish with a slip stitch. Fasten off the yarn. And weave in the yarn tail. The irregular motif of the right front band is complete. The topmost part of the fabric piece forms a right leaning side like this. That concludes the tutorial on the right front band. The crochet method for the irregular motif on the left front band is similar to that on the right front band, only the number of chains is swapped for the last two corners. After finishing, the topmost part of the left front band forms a left leaning side like this. Please refer to the chart to complete it. That concludes the explanation for the front bands. Next, let's learn the neckline. Let's take a look at the finished product. The neckline is made by joining multiple trapezoidal motifs together. The crochet technique is similar to the square motifs, but the number of chains in the corner positions is different. The first trapezoidal motif is the only complete one. The remaining motifs are worked and joined as you go on the last round. The connection is also done at the chain stitch positions of the sides and corners. Replace the chain in the middle with a single crochet for the connection. Be careful not to mistake the position of the connection. After finishing the neckline, it forms a circular arc like this. The number of motifs for the neckline differs between the large and small sizes. Please refer to the chart and finish the neckline. That concludes the explanation for crocheting the neckline. Next, let's learn the cuffs. Let's look at the finished product. There are two cuffs. Both are made by joining 6 square motifs together. The joining method is the same as that of the square motifs on the front band. However, when connecting the last motif, it needs to be joined simultaneously with the previous motif and the first motif, which forms a circle. Please watch me demonstrate the specific joining method. Here I'll use a swatch to demonstrate. The swatch has fewer motifs. After completing the first 2 rounds of the last motif, connect the last round normally with the previous motif. After finishing, crochet the next side. Then align the current motif with the wrong side of the first motif. Connect this side and the 2 corners. The method is the same as before. Then complete this round. Finally, fasten off the yarn. Weave in the yarn tail. Follow the same method to crochet the other cuff. That completes the tutorial on the cuffs. Next, let's learn the joining. Take a look at the finished product. Joining includes the neck and shoulder joining, the body joining, the sleeves joining, the front band joining, the neckline joining, and the cuffs joining. Please watch me demonstrate the specific joining methods. First, join the neck and shoulder sections. Here I'll use the swatch to demonstrate. Place the front and back pieces with the right sides facing out. Smooth them out and stack them neatly. Start by joining the left neck and shoulder position. Here I'll demonstrate with the small size as an example. The joining method for different sizes is the same. Align the neck and shoulder positions. You can mark it with a stitch marker on the position of the topmost edge without any decrease or increase. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a safety pin or a paperclip instead. On the decreasing side, at the chain space on the edge of the last row, join them at the marked position and in the middle section. Place the front piece facing you. Take out the yarn used for the front and back pieces. For ease of viewing, the swatch colors are random. Insert the hook into the marked position on the front neck and shoulder edge. Join the yarn. Then chain 2. In the marked position on the back piece's edge, work 1 single crochet. Then chain 2. Go back to the front piece's position. In the roughly corresponding position, it can be the side of the stitch or the chain space. Work 1 single crochet. Chain 2. Continue on the back piece. Work 1 single crochet in a roughly suitable position. Chain 2. Take a look. After joining, ensure the fabric remains flat and does not pucker. Follow this joining method to complete the remaining sections. Note that because the neck and shoulder sections have different stitches for different sizes, the exact insertion point when joining should be adjusted as needed. Just join evenly and keep the fabric flat. You can actually join the pieces more tightly to avoid large holes. After completing the joining at the last marked position, fasten off the yarn. Weave in the yarn tails along the texture on the wrong side. Please finish it on your own. This completes the joining of one side of the neck and shoulder. Join the other side of the neck and shoulder using the same method. Mark the positions first, then choose suitable positions for joining. Refer to the previous demonstration to complete it. That concludes the tutorial on the neck and shoulder joining. Moving on to the body joining. It is assembled by joining the front and back body sections. First, on the right side, mark the edge of the foundation chain and the stitch on the edge of the last row on the body. Then, at the marked positions and in the middle section, Pick up the chain spaces along the side edges of the fabric piece to join them correspondingly. Note that the edges of the fabric pieces should align. And each chain space roughly corresponds to one join. Adjust the specific positions as needed. At the ending position, ensure the fabric pieces align. Fasten off the yarn. And weave in the yarn tail. This forms the armhole at the chest piece position. Join the other side of the body in the same way. That completes the tutorial on the body joining. Next, let's move on to the sleeves joining. I'll demonstrate with the swatch. First, join the sides of the sleeve body, with the right side facing out. The specific joining method is the same as that for the body section. Refer to the previous demonstration to complete it. The swatch has already been joined here. The stitches on the swatch are not for specific reference. Don't cut the yarn after joining. Now, join the sleeve to the armhole position. First, use stitch markers to align the underarm joining positions. Make sure the right side is facing out. Align the neck and shoulder joining positions with the middle of the last row of the sleeve cap. You can use stitch markers to secure the remaining positions as well. Ensure that both fabric pieces are laid flat and aligned properly when joining. After marking the positions, then start joining. Continue with the previous yarn. Rotate the fabric piece. Position the body section towards yourself. First, chain 2. On the sides of the two fabric pieces. Pick up corresponding chain spaces for joining. If necessary, you can also pick up the stitches for joining. When you encounter carried yarns, wrap them into stitches. Be mindful not to leave large holes. Note that the sides of the two fabric pieces are not aligned, 1-to-1 here. Pick up corresponding positions roughly for joining. Adjust the fabric pieces at any time to ensure a smooth joint. at the last row of the sleeve cap. Continue picking up corresponding positions for joining. Perform a single join at the neck and shoulder seam. Continue using the same joining method as before. Perform a single join at the final joining position. Then join with a slip stitch in the single crochet below. Pull tight. Fasten off the yarn. Weave in the yarn tail. Now, a sleeve is properly joined. Join the other sleeve using the same method. Please complete it on your own. Next, move on to the front band joining. First, take out the right front band. That is, the side that slopes diagonally down to the right from the topmost part of the front. Position it on the right front piece near the neckline. Align it with the corresponding sides of the body and chest piece. Align and mark the beginning and end neatly. The upper part aligns with the one stitch at the edge of the last row of the chest piece. The positions of the swatch here are random. Please refer to the actual item in your hand as the standard. Secure a few points in the middle as well. Then align the left front band with the left front piece. Mark the positions similarly. Then join them using the same method for joining the body. When joining, adjust the insertion position to ensure the fabric pieces align evenly. Please refer to the previous demonstration to complete it. Take a look. This is what the front band of this swatch looks like after being joined. The neckline forms a curve like this. Please adjust the position while joining to ensure the final texture looks neat. Next, proceed with the neckline joining. Take out the neckline with the right side facing out. The outer arc corresponds to the neckline of the front and back pieces. Align both ends with the top edges of the front bands. Mark it. The central position aligns with the middle of the back piece. After neatly arranging it, align the seam where the neck and shoulder join with the neckline. There are fewer motifs in this swatch, and their corresponding positions are random. Here, you need to confirm that the motif positions on both sides, which correspond to the joining positions, are symmetrical, to avoid affecting the aesthetics. Then find a few more points to secure in other sections. To ensure the fabric pieces align evenly. After determining the position, follow the joining method used for the sleeves. Proceed with the joining. When joining, adjust the position to ensure the fabric pieces on both sides align evenly. Refer to the previous demonstration to complete it. Take a look. This is the swatch showing the front bands and neckline after they have been joined. Finally, I'll explain the cuff joining using the finished product. Position the cuff with the right side facing out. Align it with the foundation chain of the sleeve. The joining position of the sleeve should align with the seam of the motifs, then find a few points to evenly align them. Follow the method of the sleeve joining to join in a circular manner. You can start by picking up the chains of the foundation row and the chain spaces to join. If you want it more secure, you can also pick up the spaces in the first row of stitches and work single crochets for joining. Once done, fasten off and weave in the ends. Please complete this on your own. That concludes the tutorial on the joining. Next, let's learn the edging. Take a look at the finished product. Edging includes the front band edging, the neckline edging, the hem edging, the overall edging, and the cuff edging. Start with the front band edging. Crochet in rows on the left and right front bands, as well as the sides of the neckline. When crocheting along the left front band, leave spaces for the buttonholes. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet technique. Here, I'll demonstrate using the left front band as an example. Start by working row 1 on the right side of the left front band. In the chain space of the trapezoidal motif, at the outermost edge of the neckline, join the yarn. Then make 3 beginning chains. Chain 1 as a bridge. In the next 3 chain spaces on the left, work 1 single crochet in each, and chain 3 in between. After that, chain 3. In the chain space, where the motifs are joined, work 1 single crochet. Then on the irregular motif, work a single crochet in each of the 4 chain spaces, and make 3 chains as a bridge on its both sides. At the square motif positions, continue crocheting, following the method demonstrated above the irregular motif. Refer to the chart to complete this row. After finishing the last 3 chains, work 1 double crochet in the chain space of the last corner. Row 1 is now complete. For the remaining rows, continue to crochet in rows. Here, I'll use the swatch to explain the technique. At the end of rows 2 and 3, pick up the top chain of the beginning chain and crochet. For row 4, after making 1 turning chain, turn the work. Pick up the chain spaces and work single crochets correspondingly. In the last chain space, work 2 single crochets, then work 1 single crochet in the beginning chain. For the second to last row, you need to reserve buttonholes. The buttonhole positions on the chart are for reference. Actually, after completing the third to last row, you can use stitch markers to mark the positions. The top buttonhole should be about 0.5 centimeters from the edge. Reserve about 1 centimeter for the bottom one. And distribute the 4 in the middle evenly. Now, I'll use the swatch to demonstrate how to crochet the buttonholes. First, crochet according to the chart. When you reach the marked position, the position on the swatch is random. Chain 2. Skip 2 stitches below. Continue to crochet single crochets correspondingly. 1 buttonhole is complete. On the next row, when you reach the buttonhole position, in the chain space, correspondingly crochet 2 single crochets. After completing the left front band edging, fasten off and weave in the yarn. Crochet the edging on the other side symmetrically. No need to leave spaces for buttonholes. Please refer to the chart to complete it. That concludes the tutorial on the front band edging. Next, let's learn the neckline edging. Take a look at the finished product. The neckline edging is crocheted in rows on the front band, edging, and the inside of the neckline. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet technique. First, crochet row 1. Locate the left edge of the right front band. Pick up the leftmost single crochet stitch of the last row and join the yarn. Make 1 beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet in the same stitch. Weave in the yarn tail as you go. Then pick up the spaces on the side between each row. Correspondingly work 3 single crochets. On the left side of 3 rows, work 2 single crochets respectively. When you reach the motif position, in the corner position, work 1 single crochet. In the left chain space, work 2 single crochets. In the stitch position, work 1 single crochet. Work 3 single crochets on the left symmetrically. Finally, work 1 single crochet on the joined single crochet. Take a look, 8 single crochets are correspondingly worked on one motif. For the remaining motifs, similarly, work 8 single crochets on each motif as before. The last motif does not have a joined single crochet on the left. In this corner position, work 2 single crochets on the other side of the front band. Follow the crochet technique used on the side of the fabric piece and work symmetrically. After finishing, row 1 is done. For the remaining 2 rows, work in rows, crocheting a single crochet into each corresponding stitch. Finally, fasten off the yarn and weave in the ends. Please complete it on your own. That concludes the tutorial on the neckline edging. Next, let's learn the hem edging. Let's look at the finished product. The hem edging is worked on the front band section, and the foundation chain of the front and back pieces, working in rows. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet technique. Locate the right side of the left front band edging on the left. Join the yarn in the leftmost single crochet stitch of the last row. Make 1 beginning chain, work 1 single crochet in the same stitch. Then pick up the spaces on the side, and work 3 single crochets correspondingly. In the position of the beginning chain, and the double crochet, work 2 single crochets respectively. For the motif position, crochet according to the chart. At the joining position, work 1 single crochet on the joined single crochet. In the chain space, work 2 single crochets. Here the stitches at the joining position on the chart are for reference only. For the following joining positions, based on the actual situation, follow the same method and correspondingly work 3 single crochets as shown. When you reach the foundation chain, pick up the remaining 2 strands and correspondingly work single crochets. At the chain space position, correspondingly work 3 single crochets. Continue picking up the chains and working single crochets. Refer to the chart and continue crocheting in accordance with the pattern of the already crocheted part. Crochet all the way down to the position of the right front band edging. The last stitch is precisely worked into this stitch position. Row 1 is complete. For the following 2 rows, Simply work in rows, crocheting a single crochet into each corresponding stitch. Finally, fasten off the yarn and weave in the ends. Please complete it on your own. That concludes the tutorial on the hem edging. Finally, proceed with the overall edging. Locate the left side of the hem edging. Join the yarn in the last stitch of the last row. Make one beginning chain. Work one single crochet in the same stitch. Skip the side position. In the single crochet on the edge of the front band edging, work 9 double crochets. We will consider these 9 double crochets as a fan pattern. Skip 3 stitches and work 1 single crochet. After that, skip 3 stitches and work a fan pattern. Continue skipping 3 stitches and work 1 single crochet. The overall edging is created by working along the edging positions. Work a single crochet and a fan pattern alternately separated by 3 stitches. For the specific number of stitches to skip, you can also adjust based on the actual situation. When there is a section left on the front band edging, you need to count the remaining stitches. Make sure to work a single crochet at the corner. The last fan pattern is crocheted at the end of the front band edging. Adjust the number of stitches skipped as needed. The swatch omits some repeated sections in the middle here. Now we're at the neckline edging. Continue crocheting according to the previous pattern. Please note, before the corner on the other end, adjust the number of stitches skipped. Make sure to work a single crochet at the corner for all the following corners. Use this method to adjust. Please refer to the previous demonstration to complete this round. Some sections are omitted here in the swatch as well. After finishing the last fan pattern, join with a slip stitch in the starting single crochet. Fasten off the yarn. Weave in all the yarn tails. That concludes the tutorial on the overall edging. Finally, let's learn the cuff edging. Let's look at the finished product. The cuff edging is worked along the other side of the cuff, crocheting in rounds. You need to change the color during the process. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet technique. First, work round 1. Here I'll use a swatch to demonstrate. At the seam where the motifs on the sleeve are joined, join the yarn in the chain space of the top right corner on the left motif. The position of the swatch is random. Try to match it as closely as possible. Then refer to the chart. Work single crochets in the corresponding chain spaces and stitch positions. Also work a single crochet on the joined single crochet. Follow this method to complete this round. Finish with a slip stitch in the first single crochet. Round 1 is complete. Continue working round 2. First, make 1 beginning chain. Turn the work. Start from the last stitch of the previous round. Correspondingly work single crochets. Work the last single crochet into the first single crochet of the previous round. Then finish with a slip stitch. Round 2 is complete. Continue with round 3. This round is worked on the right side. Finish with a slip stitch after completing. Fasten off the yarn. Weave in the yarn tail. Round 3 is complete. Finally, work round 4. Join the yarn in the insertion point of the slip stitch on the previous round. Then work a single crochet and a fan pattern alternately. Note that the number of stitches skipped between them varies. Finish with a slip stitch, fasten off the yarn, and weave in the ends. Please complete this on your own. That concludes the tutorial on the cuff edging. Next, attach buttons onto the right front band edging. First, determine the button positions. Align the positions of these rows of single crochets on the front band edging. Place a stitch marker where the buttonhole corresponds. Try to place it in the middle of these rows of single crochets. After determining the position, now proceed with sewing. Here I'll use a swatch to demonstrate. Place the button on the marked position. The position of the swatch is random. Cut a piece of yarn used for the back piece to sew and secure it. After securing it firmly, tie off, and weave in the ends. Do the same with the other yarn tail. So the remaining buttons using the same method. That concludes the tutorial on the buttons. Up to this point, the tutorial for this cardigan is all here. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website. Susan's family, supporting your handwork, enjoying the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.